What's up everyone? This video was a requested video on how to switch a 2-pump setup to a 3-pump setup, adding an additional pump to the rear so they could 3-wheel easier. I'm going to be showing you what you'll need to change in order to make it to that type of setup. Before I do, make sure that you subscribe, like, and make sure that you comment in the comment section below. Jumping into this, I want to say that every setup is just a little bit different, so there's no just one way of doing this. So with that said, the first thing that you're obviously going to need when switching a 2-pump to a 3-pump is you're going to need an additional pump. Obviously, you've thought that through if you've made it this far. In addition to that, if you are running a single dump to the rear currently, you're going to need an additional dump and most likely an additional check valve in order to run on your additional pump. You're also going to need additional solenoids. When switching from a 2-pump to a 3-pump, you're going to add most likely 2 or 3 solenoids. If you're running 3 batteries to each new pump, you're going to need a minimum of 2 solenoids. If you're running 6 batteries, for example, to each rear, you're going to need at least 3 solenoids. Don't forget, you're also going to need additional battery cable in order to hook up from the pump to the solenoids and to the batteries. As a general rule for me, when switching from a 2-pump to a 3-pump, I like to run at least 4 batteries to the rear pumps. So on a 2-pump setup, it's perfectly fine to run 3 batteries to that rear pump. But when you're going from a 1 pump to the rear to 2 pumps to the rear, it's better to hook it up to where 4 batteries are going to the rear so you have plenty of lift. It is spinning both pumps at the same time creates a little bit more of a draw, so that's why I switched from 3 batteries to 4. Obviously, when you're switching from a 2-pump to a 3-pump, you're going to need a third place to mount your pump to. You may have to alter your entire rack to make it all fit in there together, but obviously you need to think far enough ahead to plan that out. I'm not going to cover welding in a new spot for it because every setup's different and there's no way that I could tell one person this is how you do it. Lastly, you're going to have to make some changes to the current switches that you have. Now, there's no way for me to know exactly what you currently have, so the easiest way for me to tell you is you're going to have to do a little bit of investigating. But here goes. The easiest way to explain how these work, okay? Your center points, they are power, okay? Your up and down, when you go to hit your switch, when you hit it up, okay, it's actually activating these bottom ones, okay? When you hit the switch down, it's activating these, okay? So the reason why I'm telling you that is if you look at your switches and you look at the back side and you look at the dump, so let's say that you're dumping, these 2 on top are your dumps. If you go to hit it up, these 2 on the bottom are your pumps. Okay, that's how you track down what is currently what in what you have. Now we want to locate which way is left and right. So in order to figure out what is left and right, the easiest way for me to tell you is first write down what both are dumps. So when I've pushed down and I've figured out that these 2 are dumps, now what I want to do is I want to write these 2 colors down. Okay, now we want to next locate a switch that only operates one side of the rear, okay? Either a side-to-side switch or a individual wheel switch. So if I hit right side, I'll hit that to dump, look at the back of that switch as well, and figure out which one is that right side. Okay, that's the easiest way to figure it out. Also, if you have individual wheel to where each individual wheel is dumping, you can also narrow it down that quick because you already know that up, these up ones are the dumps and these down ones are the pumps. To make things just a little bit easier, if you have a traditional switch box and you're wanting to know what goes to what, this is generally the correct colors. With that said, it doesn't mean that it's exactly this right now. If you have a custom-made switch box or it has been redone or someone made it customly for you or changed things around, it's not going to match up. But if you have a traditional 10-switch switch box, a lot of times these are the correct colors. With that said, you've also got a different wire that has some green with a line or green solid or gray with a solid. If that's the case, then you still are going to have to pull it out and see what's what. Okay, so I threw this together basically just to show you what a somewhat traditional setup looks like. You probably have something very similar to this if you have a two-pump setup. You have your T-fitting that jumps into a check valve on each side that goes through the dump, and the return back to a T-fitting, your slowdown into the block. And then, of course, your fittings on the sides, they go out to your hoses. Now, in order to switch this from a two dump setup to a single, it's going to be changed to something like this. When converting this over, it's going to look something similar to this setup. So basically, you'll have on your pressure side, you'll have your check valve, and then you'll have your dump going through your dump, and then this obviously goes out to your hoses, out to your cylinders. This right here comes to return to your slowdown and then goes back into the pump. So you'll have your dump hose somewhere right here. Now this is just stuff I've just kind of thrown together to show you, but just to give you an example. So here's another configuration that is more preferred, so it doesn't put pressure on the dump itself. It has a 90-degree going out to your check valve, going through a T-fitting, so it's going straight out to the cylinder instead of going through the dump. In this situation, you've got the 90-degree, the check valve going to a T-fitting, out to the dump or out to the cylinder. Now when it dumps, you'll go through the dump itself and then of course back around to your slowdown and back into your block. If you do this configuration though, you are going to need to block off one of your ports. So two more things that I want to note is when installing your check valve, make sure that the ball side, when you see the ball, you can see the ball in there, make sure that that side is down because the fluid goes through this direction. Okay, now the second thing that I want to bring to your attention when you're dealing with any kind of slowdown and installing it, it can be, it can get in the way. The knob here can get in the way. So when spinning it and installing it onto the block, it can get, this part of it can get in the way. So you can take a wrench and take this part out completely and then put it on and put this back in and put it back together. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment in the comment section below. Also, if you can't find the answer to the question that you're looking for, make sure that you look in the description area. I have posted all of the previously published videos that I've ever made. A lot of the answers to your questions will be there. Also, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, Tennessee on Hydraulics.